Speed limits are done in kilometers per hour. In urban areas, it's 50. Outside of urban areas, it's 90. You know when you're in a 90 because you'll have the name of the village or the town with a red line through it, meaning you've left the urban area. It's now 90. Expressways or dual carriageways have this blue symbol and they're 110 kilometers per hour. They usually don't have a hard shoulder. Motorways are 130 kilometers per hour with this green symbol, and dipped beams headlights need to be used 24 hours a day. And you need to buy an Vignette, a digital Vignette. There's no toll booths, but to use some of their roads, you have to have one of these. You don't stick anything on the window. It's all digital. Cost me 16 euros and it's number plate recognition. It's only the main roads you need it for, but it's certainly worth having. Here's an example of a sign when we're entering a village. So it's 50 kilometers per hour now. And here's the sign with the red line through it saying we've exited the urban area. Now the speed limit is 90 kilometers per hour. You will need to put a UK sticker on the back of your car if you're from the UK. Of course, that's different depending what country you're from. Or you could have UK with the Union Jack on your number plate like I do here. GB is no longer accepted. Make sure you bring your V5 registered keeper document, proof of insurance, MOT if your car needs one, driving license and passport. I bought my passport and driving license, but I forgot the documents. So I was actually pulled over in Austria yesterday and I got a 10 euro fine. Because we're in a part of Slovenia that's near Austria and Italy, as you can see the Italian border is just behind me, we are crossing the border fairly often, so being stopped is quite likely. I wonder how much the fine in Slovenia will be next time we're stopped. Hopefully they don't stop us. Also, you would need to bring a warning triangle to place behind your car if you break down, high visibility jackets for everybody inside the car, and a first aid kit. I forgot to bring the warning triangle. Oh, and if you're from the UK, you're probably going to need stickers on your headlights unless your headlights have a flat beam. How to tell? Well, drive up to a wall at night time, turn your headlights on, and if the beam is flat, you don't need the stickers. If the beam kicks up towards the left, you do need the stickers because in Slovenia, you're driving on the right side of the road and you don't want to be blinding oncoming vehicles. Also, from 2024, there's going to be another hoop to jump through before you come to Slovenia and other European countries. You see, there's a lot to remember when driving abroad. It's called ETIAS. Look into it if you're driving from 2024 onwards, but you no longer need to worry about an insurance green card. You haven't needed one of those since August 2021. And if you're wondering why I'm showing you the mountains here, well, it's because that's one of the reasons to come to Slovenia. Petrol is cheaper than diesel. Petrol is €1.45. This is on the 1st of August 2023, and diesel is €1.50, cheaper than it was in Germany and Austria, where I was paying closer to €1.90. As is the case in most European countries, petrol is E5, this is 95, the cheaper stuff. Diesel is B7. If you want the more expensive petrol, then this E5 is 100. I haven't seen E10 here yet. Filling up is more or less the same. Obviously, just put the nozzle in the car. Within 3 days of arriving in Slovenia, you need to register your stay with the police. If you're staying in a hotel, it shouldn't be a problem. They should do it for you. But if you're staying with friends or family or camping and the hotel's not going to register it for you, then you need to go to the police station and register your stay yourself. If you're from the UK and you're 17, well, unfortunately, you can't drive in most European countries. You need to be 18. And if you want to hire a car, it's unlikely you'll find a hire company that will allow you if you're not at least 21 and or have held a driving license for 2 years. The drink drive limit in Slovenia is lower than it is in the UK as well. In the UK, it's 0.08. Well, I say the UK, it's actually lower in Scotland. It's 0.05 in Scotland, as it is in Slovenia, 0.05. But for under 21s, there is a zero tolerance when it comes to alcohol. You cannot take meat or milk into European countries. However, small quantities of powdered infant milk is acceptable, and milk in your boobies doesn't count. You're almost twice as likely to die on the roads in Slovenia than you are in the UK. In 2019, per 100,000 people in the population in the UK, there were 2.6 deaths, but in Slovenia there were 4.9, so nearly twice as many. But that doesn't mean Slovenia is dangerous. It just means the UK is incredibly safe. When driving down steep hills, use a low gear. If you have an automatic transmission, you can usually choose a lower gear. At the moment in this hybrid, I'm in B mode because my battery is full, so it can't recuperate any more of the energy from going down this hill, so the engine is having to waste the energy by spinning the engine. The reason why you want to use a low gear, or the low gear setting on your automatic transmission, or B mode in this hybrid, is to prevent your brakes from overheating. If you go all the way down a mountain on your foot brake, or even use your foot brake for several minutes downhill, your brakes are likely to overheat. And they don't give up gradually. It's not like you get warning. They seem to be working fine, and then when you come off the brake, it's the next time you use them that you'll notice that you have significantly less braking capability, so it can be scary. Using a low gear down hills can keep you safe. The emergency services number in Slovenia is 112, as it is in most of Europe, apart from the UK where it's 999, although I believe you can use 112 in the UK. As for signs, well, we've got a triangle up here, that's a warning, red triangles. A circle with a red border is what you should not do, so we have a 70 coming up here, which means I should not go over 70, and there's a warning that there is a left bend. Blue signs are what you should do, and the 8-sided octagon sign, as is the case throughout most of the world, is the stop sign. A problem that we have had is parking, and it's not that there isn't enough parking spaces. There are plenty. It's just that in the most popular areas there are more cars than parking spaces. Yesterday we went to Piran and we were looking for half an hour to find somewhere to park. So today we've come to Bled, and instead of going straight into the centre where Bled is, we decided to find somewhere 2 kilometres away, and as you can see, plenty of spaces. But we have our bicycles, so it's not going to take us long to get there. The motorways in Slovenia, they're the ones with green signs, are smooth. Generally there are only 2 lanes, and the speed limit doesn't change every minute. So I can actually settle into a nice cruise at 130 kilometers per hour. What you can see now is actually about as busy as I've seen it. There are plenty of service stations as well, and they do appear to have electric charging points. But of course, if you're going to drive your electric car here, make sure you do your research so that you know where you're going to charge. Speed limits do generally change when you go through tunnels on the motorways. Usually they're between 80 and 100 kilometers per hour. I don't have to worry about this because I'm driving in Slovenia in August. But if you were to drive here between November the 15th and March the 15th, then you would need winter tyres on all 4 wheels. If you have summer tyres, then you need snow chains in the boot ready. And the minimum tread depth of the tyres here is 3 millimeters, whereas in the UK, it's 1.6 millimeters. Seatbelts should be worn by all passengers in the front and the back, and children under 150 centimeters high need an appropriate child restraint, or the seatbelt needs to be adjusted appropriately to their size. The horn should not be used in built-up areas unless it's to warn of immediate danger. You don't need to signal to enter a roundabout if you're going round it, but you do signal to leave. At the moment we're on a very busy roundabout because we're near Lake Bled, which is popular. However, I find that it's still better to signal if I'm going round the roundabout, because the first time I decided not to, someone pulled out in front of me. And this is genuinely very busy. Usually Slovenia is quieter, but if you go near one of the most popular tourist hotspots, you can expect it to be busy. So at the moment, I shouldn't be signalling to go around this roundabout. I'm not going to, just for demonstration. And then when I want to leave, I'll signal now. And I can make my way to the outside lane to then leave the roundabout. Jaywalking, or crossing the road without using a proper pedestrian crossing, is illegal in Slovenia, and there are heavy on-the-spot fines. Using a handheld mobile phone when driving is forbidden in Slovenia. However, you can use a hands-free kit. If the police catch you using your mobile phone when you're driving, then you will likely get a fine. And if you're unable to pay that fine on the spot, they may confiscate your driving license or passport, and you won't get it back until you pay the fine. I guess the red sign means I must stop. Fairly self-explanatory. Speed camera detection devices are not allowed in Slovenia. However, this car tells me when there's a speed camera, and also the sat-nav. Google sat-nav does as well, and I don't know how to turn that off. So how you get around that one, I'm not sure. Driving in Slovenia is enjoyable. The roads are generally smooth. They're much better than they are in the UK. Not that that's hard. And there isn't much traffic, although I'm going to the capital this evening. It may be different there. We'll see. I think over 60% of Slovenia is covered in forest, and humans aren't exactly top of the food chain. You have wolves and bears and lots of bees. Not that they are above us in the food chain, but if you're allergic to them, well, you know. So be careful. I'm no longer in Slovenia now. I'm actually under the English Channel on a train heading back to the UK. We covered around about 3,700 kilometers and the car averaged 41 miles per gallon. Usually it does a lot better than that, but we've got bicycles on the roof and the speed limits in a lot of countries are actually higher than they are in the UK. We're doing 80 miles per hour, 130 kilometers per hour a lot of the time. If there was a place in Slovenia that stood out to me, it would be a cave. Can't remember how to say it, Postojna, I think, and I wasn't quite sure why we were going there. My other half said that she booked a cave for us, 29 euros each, and I was thinking 29 euros to see a cave, but it's not a cave, it's more of an underground world. It's 24 kilometers if you join them all up. The tour takes about an hour and a half, and you actually use a train to go there. It's well worth a look. It's like nothing on earth, probably because it's under the earth. If you like the video, give it a like, subscribe to get my future videos, and until the next one, cheerio.